his gloves back on. Well, what does that mean? Did he lie? Or what? He left the ring, then he came back and he posed on a turnbuckle. And then he didn't take his boots off. I guess the gloves were going to be the boots, but he took the gloves off, but then he put the gloves back on. Has he changed his mind? Is he going to say, well, I just can't leave you now? That would be kind of kabuki-ish. So he said he was going to retire this year. Then he said he would end his career up against Gunther. And then he lost in the match. And then he takes his gloves down in the ring back. I assume we're going to find out something when we next hear from these people.
Nakamura put up that post saying that AJ told him in advance the Royal Rumble was his last night, and that is what happened. Of course, AJ Styles this past week was in the news because he trademarked the name AJ Styles and Phenomenal One, the logo that he had on the gloves. So he's making sure he's ready for a post-WWE career next. How much would Tony Khan give AJ Styles?
Well, that's the thing, is that I can't say he wouldn't do it for $10 million or whatever. I think if AJ, who was still being used as a main event level guy, and I don't know why he would want to leave. And we haven't heard about his contract coming up. That's the thing. Nobody said his contract. All right, did I miss this?
Are currently in the area.
That his contract would be up anytime soon, just that he was thinking about retiring.
They're on high alert. You
Is
don't
he
want them to slip away.
trademarking that himself?
You know what to do,
so that he can own himself after his career. But I don't see any reason why he would leave and go there at this time with the relationship he has with the WWE. I think he's serious about not being in the ring, maybe except if he wants to. Once in a while.
Syndicate member eliminated. Well done.
Behind the scenes purpose, or does he want to start a school, or does he want to work behind the scenes in their program? I don't think he's leaving the company because
by the way, that's the only other option. Is he stays with the company or he goes to AEW. Those you're writing and saying, what about TNA? He's not going to TNA.
No. And he wouldn't have to quit the WWE to go to TNA anyway. But I don't know why at this point, unless he just said, you know what, this guy will give me $10 million for a year or 2 years or whatever, and how can I not? I really don't see why he would leave in the position he's in and the good graces he's in and
need anything cool?
And go wrestle for AEW. $10
million.
I'd like to buy some glue, please.
Most a year. I don't know. It's appealing. Again, I don't know if it's $10 million. We're just throwing that number. That's pretty excessive.
Well, that's what I'm saying. At some point, I guess anybody would almost do anything.
In business with you.
But AJ is not in dire need of money, and I don't know what he would think he could accomplish over there at this point that nobody else can. But nevertheless, it was odd with the gloves.
And again, Gunther now shut down Goldberg. John Cena was again. And AJ Styles.
Well,
what are they doing next with Gunther?
The only reason she'd come down
I want to see that fucking match. And I want Gunther to beat Brock. That is the victory that he needs. That I've been saying that's the natural one, the most believable physical guy in the ring of the previous generation against the most believable physical guy in the ring of this generation. And if Brock is motivated to do it the right way and put Gunther over rather than just losing a match to him.
Well, we shall see. But Jim, there was another big match before the next Royal Rumble here on this event.
I've got nothing.
There was another big match before the next big match.
Probably. I actually worked with Athena about 10 years ago. That was before she was
I'm sorry. It's just another thing that, okay, is a Royal Rumble winner. gets the World Championship match at WrestleMania, the main event.
Very ambitious.
But now the Elimination Chamber
Well done,
winner
Producer. This will
gets a
surely be a blow
WrestleMania
to
main
his
event against another
You
world
should get back to
champion.
the safe house. I'll
They've
contact you
diluted this
later.
thing down by half. So the world title match was Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. That's why they put Sami over in Montreal. We talked about this in the second part of the doubleheader. They love him in Montreal because he's local, and they love him in Saudi Arabia because now they love him there where they didn't love him before. It's a thin line between love and hate, Brian. And again, at least we have a clear babyface, a clear heel, a reason to get behind the fucking underdog. A one-on-one match with regular rules, doesn't need furniture. And you know, that was the most refreshing thing is, do you think, is Saudi Arabia the last place in the goddamn world that hasn't been polluted? Well, no, they've done it there before with the garbage matches. But the furniture, we didn't need the furniture. That was refreshing.
Okay.
Sami Zayn is the best all-around babyface stellar in the WWE. And that's the part that I liked the best about him when he was El Generico, is that he could sell so well as a babyface. And that was when he was 15 years younger, so he actually was a little bit better at it there, just because he was a little fresher of a pup. But also he's a little bit smarter now. But he opens up with his flashy babyface shit and does dive, and then the heel takes over on him, gets heat on him, and he fights from underneath. And Drew did his part perfectly here because he's an excellent heel. And not only does his athletic shit, his moves, his work, for the most part look good, but also his body language and his facial expressions. He's on, he's himself all the time. So again, Sammy's got to fight from underneath. And I liked most of this match, but then I thought in trying to make Sammy before they beat him, I don't know, they lost me, and they may have lost to people already, because now that we know that it was after midnight by this point, because the one thing that I noticed was for Sammy to be so popular over there, when Drew hit the white noise Sheamus's move off the second turnbuckle or whatever, and got a 2 count, and Sammy kicked out. I was like, well, we're starting to go a little too far here in the heat, and there wasn't a big pop either. And then Drew hit it 3 of his DDTs in a row. Remember, it got a 2 count. And I don't know too much, and the fans weren't going ballistic. Now, was it a problem with the miking, or is my hearing? My ears still clogged? People feel like,
Sorry, but we've had the section on this area. Head of security suspects there may be some tampering.
Again, this is one of those things where I started asking myself how many people were there.
Well, at least it's not as bad as that time in Queens. Remember that? Oh, 6,000 generated files together?
I don't know.
Sorry, not on my watch. Talk to Perez if it's that important, but expect a big no.
Great, thanks for nothing.
House was.
well, I'm not saying killed it, but my problem is that Drew, in trying to, I guess they thought beforehand that if we do all these things to Sammy, he keeps kicking out, that the people are going to be jumping up and down throwing babies to him. And this is the kind of finish where it would have worked if the people were throwing the babies. But because they weren't throwing the babies, I was like, oh, come on now. Let me give it again to you. White noise on the turnbuckle. Boom, big bump, 2 count. 3 of his DDTs in a row, 2 count. Drew hit 2 big clotheslines, then missed a kick, then Sammy tried to kick and missed it, then Drew hit the kick. 2 count, Sammy got the ropes. Then Drew with the referee for no apparent reason for a Sammy hit the kid, and Drew barely turned his shoulder, and it wasn't, you couldn't see in that big building. And then Drew rolled over to the desk, out on the floor, and Sammy followed him, and Drew powerbombed Sammy on the fucking desk, and the referees were checking on Sammy, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, just shoot him then, or just take a fucking axe and give poor Sammy 40 whacks. And then Drew rolled him back in and started beating on him and taunting him, and Sammy came back after all that with a suplex in the corner, the exploder, and went for the kick, and Drew hit his kick, didn't cover him, hit another kick.
Impressive work, 47. Let me know when you're ready for your next assignment.
Sledgehammer. Again, I think it was just too much for Drew, who was in this title picture, obviously, deeply, along with Cody and Jacob and all the challengers they've got, and Sammy, yes, is popular and needed to have a great showing, but they got into AEW territory with this, and it's fucking, and look at Sammy is 75 pounds smaller and lower on the pecking order than Drew, and Drew needed to fucking
Excellent, 47. We have now tracked down the syndicate leader's
for the
location.
last 3 or 4 minutes, I wasn't offended by this match, but I think it could have been
I've
better if they
provided
had
you with
shortened
new
that down
intel.
to just euthanize him once and pin him. But now you tell me.
I thought it was alright. I saw Andrew won. I thought it was the right move. I thought they would do something to get a big pop, and they didn't. Do you think Sammy will ever get the world title? You know, you had 2 moments now where you could say it was set up for a main event if it ever was open to the match for Roman Reigns and Montreal, which we didn't think they should have, and they should have. Others were arguing that was the time. And now this one, main event.
I'll be in touch when you reach your destination.
Right, it was. Did everything they did, it doesn't seem like it's the time. I don't think there ever will be a time.
It was after midnight. They didn't love him as that stuff. If they were jumping up and down like the old days of Steve Austin, then that finish may have been justified. But they thought, apparently, when they laid it out, that was going to happen. But it's after midnight, it didn't happen. But I said, that would be crazy.
Welcome to the Maldives. It's time to put an end here. The leader is currently operating in the area. However, we have very little intel on their identity. But this is not going to be easy. Previous actions have put them on high alert, so you need to be tactical. On the other hand, we do know this. They are here for a business meeting. We also have the following description on their looks. We know that they have no hair, they are wearing glasses, they are sporting a tattoo, and wearing a hat. We have further intel that informs us that the target is agitated and nervous. And last but not least, they have a sweet tooth. I hope this will help. Don't disappoint, 47. Good luck.
But definitely when there was only one, you would make Sammy the world champion, and
You want to buy
even though
something?
there's 2,
I got it all.
He couldn't be the world champion for months and months and months. He's a great bridesmaid.
Well, there it is. Once again, the Rockets game, Sammy's 8. We'll see what happens on his road to WrestleMania. But Jim, you brought it up earlier. Whether in his current iteration or as the masked Elgin ever go, Sammy is going to sell. Maybe his skill and honor. It's a helping hand. Professional. Professional and an office building. A leg up. You need a leg up. And you need to sit down and relax, knowing that there's something there that is peace of mind. You get your Phoenix out to it. You get your Phoenix. You get your friends and shit.
Out there for a second. Folks, if you want a leg up, let me tell you what, Shopify, they're big boys. They control and they command the 10% of all the e-commerce in the United States, which at last account was $74 trillion. And they are the makes businesses relevant. So if you talk about needing a leg up, when Shopify gets they're gonna jack one leg up, then they're gonna jack the other leg up, and both your legs are gonna be way up
Look
in the
alive,
air.
buddy.
And then they're gonna send the knowledge that they have straight down the middle, folks.
Okay, I don't know what you're trying to say, but folks, what we're trying to say here is
Kid.
a partner you can trust, a partner we trust. We trust them with everyone.
Yes, you gotta trust your partner with both your legs are up in the air, folks. And I'll tell you what, Shopify is a partner that you can trust. They're gonna get behind you. Or they'll be on top of things. Every once in a while, fuck you. But that's only financially. But you're going to be in a variety of positions, and Shopify will show you how to get maximum impact and depth from each one of them. Whether it's getting started with your own design studio, whether it's accelerating your efficiency by uploading new products or trying to improve existing ones, they've got all the helpful AI tools. They can strap those tools right on and give you the experience you deserve. They can write product descriptions and page headlines, take candid photography. And folks, with marketing, they can get the word out like you got to. There'll be somebody screaming at the top of their lungs about your products every day of the week. Out of the town square, you'll just hear screaming and yelling. That means that Shopify is servicing another customer. And best yet, they've got world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns. And they also know about the public nudity laws in all 50 states. And what if you get stuck, ladies and gentlemen? Well, Shopify is always around to share advice with their award-winning 24/7 customer support. You call them up. If you're a customer 24/7, you need help. Thanks for whatever. Say, God damn it, I'm just shut my life, and I don't know what to do with the money. Say that.
Well, first of all, don't do that. Second of all, don't say that even if you don't do that. And second of all,
I mean, when you don't say it, you'll never find out what happens. But tackle all those important tasks in one place, folks. Except for shooting the light. Or again, let's not use this in all the tasks besides that.
Let's talk about selling, not shooting. We're talking about selling two different things. Some can sell, some can shoot.
Jesus. Just leave her locked up in the basement. She won't be able to interfere. There's no need to go to multiple websites or try to figure out what platform is hosting the tool that you need, because all the tools are in one place in Shopify. And right now, you can start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing that sales sound. There it is. That means you're making money. Sign up for your $1 a month trial period today at Shopify.com/JCE. That's Shopify.com/JCE for a $1 a month trial period, so you can find out what it's all about for only $1. And then they will propel you into the upper stratosphere of money-making big businesses. You'll be a corporate typhoon. Shopify.
We trust them, you can too. Shopify.com/JCE for a great deal.
Yep, you call that customer support, you can tell them anything. They won't stooge on you. Confess your darkest sins.
Once again, Jim, that it's the end.
JCE. That's the end of that.
Someone should go and see. Now.
I hear you.
All right, Jim.
See, now you're using both hands.
That's one hand. And there's no transition from there. Jim, let's
You use all 5 fingers. So at least if you only give me one hand when you do the job, use all 5 fingers.
Jim, while we still have all our body parts, let's try to get out of Saudi Arabia. Let's return to the big Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble.
And Bonesaw McGraw did not join the Rumble. By the way, when the men's Royal Rumble started, which is kind of the thing that the show is named after, 2 hours and 45 minutes into this broadcast. And the fourth match was up.
Well, one match was an hour.
You're telling me. All right, so, and by the way, okay, so the first match was an hour and 15 minutes. And then 25 minutes for Gunther and AJ, so an hour and 45. And then 20 minutes maybe. So they've still dicked around for almost an hour in between this thing. Anyway, the Men's Royal Rumble, and there was a pattern that you'll begin to notice. They not only... Remember I was telling you a story about, we were talking about the Royal Rumbles, and I was involved in as a manager, except for the thing with Vader where there was a big schmoz, but like one year I just pointed to the ring for Jimmy Del Rey and Tom Pritchard to just run as fast as you can. Now with the entrances, and they're in a stadium, and they're doing some of the guys know full entrance. Jay Eden, for Christ's sake. And by the time that they refuse to do the entrance and get in the ring, they literally do 2 spots, and boom, there's the next guy. But meanwhile, then they're shooting the entrance, and everybody's attention's on the entrance. All the guys in the ring, most of the time, are just fucking laying there selling. So you've got a match that goes an hour, but every 2 minutes it stops for about a minute to a minute and a half. And then it starts again, it goes for another 30 seconds. Am I over-exaggerating this?
Again, it's the Royal Rumble. It's a fun match. It's a fun night. One match where you don't know what's going to happen or who's going to come out or who will be
or how long it's going to take.
It was 2 minutes in the past. It's 90 seconds here. It was 90 seconds in the past as well.
And here's another thing. Was it 2 minutes? Because the men's rumble went an hour. The women's went an hour and 15 minutes. Did they start cutting time when they realized, oh, fuck, it's 2 o'clock in the morning? What?
Starting the show.
But the point is, again, the Royal Rumble traditionally was you run down there and jump in, and there's the chaos. And I mentioned that the girls, match rundown that we did, that Pat Patterson would have spots for guys to shine that you wanted to protect, and different ways for guys that were top guys to be eliminated. All the focus on them, but they had an out or an excuse, they were ganged up on whatever. And in this one, and I'll give it away, but we'll get to it. The biggest elimination, Brock Lesnar was barely caught on camera, while some other fucking knucklehead was making his goddamn entrance. And it was Jey Uso.
It was the biggest entrance anyone got, yeah.
The biggest entrance anybody got, and at that point, while he was eating through the whole stadium, the LA Knight teamed up to eliminate Brock. Because it had taken so long to do the previous shit, they just... When Phoenix came in, Brock caught him and slammed him, and German Nova and dumped Phoenix, and then Oba had to clothesline Brock and hit Logan Paul and try to dump Paul, and Brock dumped him. Well, here comes Jey Uso, but it's time for Brock to leave, but they just did it anyway.
What the hell am I doing
getting ahead
here?
of myself.
Why do I always say yes to this stupid?
Number 1 was Oba Femi. And there are still people that Cornette fucking shits on Oba Femi because he had a Nigerian accent. Seen him. We saw him the one time, and I said, why is he putting on the fake accent? And come to find out, he's really from Nigeria, but he exaggerates the accent. And ever since then, everybody's like, oh, Cornette hates him. He looks great. I don't know that I've seen him yet in a particular position where I thought he was ready to be the fucking world champion here in modern times. He had that little match with Cody, right? Not bad. But nevertheless, because he's first and Braun Breaker is second. Well, the thing that Paul Heyman's pissed it out of Pierce because Braun Breaker got the number 2 spot, and Pierce is saying it's a blind draw. But I remember them giving out specific spots in the past. They just make this shit up. So anyway, Braun Breaker's coming down the entranceway, and the guy in black, the black hoodie, the black outfit, he's not a ninja, but it's all black, jumps Braun Breaker, runs him into the stairs, beats him up, stomps him, rolls him in, and then Opa Femi clotheslined him out. And the guy in black ran off, and Paul had a fit screaming, "That was Seth Rollins! That was Seth Rollins!" And Braun just staggered out. And, no, it wasn't time for him to win it. Maybe they thought that would be received better than it. Should they have let the thing get started before they did that? Just so it wouldn't be just like people be like, "Oh, fuck. Why don't let that? What do you think?"
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, I guess.
Do you mind going to see what it is?
Like,
I hear you.
Plays into the bigger picture, which would be Ron was screwed over through McIntyre style. And he's going to be on the rampage. Maybe it's out of Pierce, maybe against Rollins. And if it's not Rollins, who's the new Austin Theory?
Well, I think it was Austin. I think it was Austin Theory. Because whoever that person was doesn't have to be the person that's revealed because he didn't reveal himself. And if they wanted to be Seth, then, I mean, I did the same thing one time. I couldn't get my buddies in town, so Well Done, under ski mask, attacked Storm and Jericho in the parking lot. And we just said it was the Heavenly Body. But this was a little flat, but I think it was Theory because he moved the same way he did the fucking Storm. And they just said, "Here, you know what, and we'll reveal later on." I'm not saying it's going to be Theory in the end. Although, who knows, it may be. I don't know. They know what they're doing. Anyhow. So that was that. And then here came Solo. And you got a little Solo and Oba. And then Rey Mysterio. And then Rusev. And Rusev got dumped in 30 seconds. What did he do here now? Or they just said, "Fuck it then." He just got back. They go, "Let's get the fuck out of here, please."
It's surprising. You thought they would book him stronger than he was booked. He's just not been booked at all. No. Since he came back, I don't know if it's an issue we just don't see. When he was, for a little while, booked well in AEW, he was really effective and really good. And he's just a non-entity right now in WWE. A non-entity.
But anyway, so Oba, that's where Oba broke out. And he dumped Rusev 30 seconds after he came in, and he dumped Solo, and he dumped Ray, and got booed for that. Because, you know, again, if I was a new babyface in the Royal Rumble, the last thing I'd want to do is dump any of the legendary babyfaces, whether they think it will get me over or not. And then out came Matt Cardona. And he had an exchange with Oba and got dumped again. So now Oba was alone again. So they're doing the thing with the big guy, you know, ends the ring. So they have plans for him. And if Damian Priest, at least he ran down. But Damian Priest and Oba Femi, they're trying to do some kind of lackluster, choreographed, aggressive parkour routine with the block and the kick and the duck and the... I don't know if that got it. Because Priest doesn't have the oomph that he needs, and Oba don't need to be doing Fancy Dan stuff. But then Javon Evans came in, and he ducked and dodged and bounced around because, as we've mentioned many times, that boy bouncy. And he does the cute stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, again, this is a kind of showcase where this kid can last a little while by doing all this fancy stuff, and he's the underdog, and he works hard, people want to like him. But then the next guy was Mr. Iguana, with the puppet in his mouth. And now instead of Javon Evans, who is athletic and at least it's a real person wrestling or whatever, now the Iguana guy makes everybody look stupid, having to, even though like Priest double choke slammed Iguana and the puppet, even if they're not cooperating by getting beat up by this guy, the fact that they're cooperating with the spots with him makes everybody look stupid. The fans were conflicted because do you think that AAA's a big deal in Saudi Arabia? Have they ever seen Mr. Iguana? Do you think over there?
Well, the internet is everywhere. Well, I shouldn't say everywhere. King has to let you have it.
Well, do you think he's uppermost in the minds of all the fans in Saudi Arabia, whether they got the internet or not?
I think whether it's Mr. Iguana, who I'm embarrassed by when I see him, I don't give a fuck how much people like him in Lucha Libre, or his Hobbs, or fans or know anyone outside of the community. I need help! Because he danced for the people that the royal family
47,
invited to
your
his
target is onto you and is trying to get away.
Whenever they got there, it didn't seem like a lot of people knew what the fuck this was or what was going on. So, then Rick Williams, who dunked Iguana and became my new hero.
The leader is
That was
eliminated.
number 10, and then
Well done.
number 11, Cody, and the crowd